Hello ladies and gentlemen, as always I hope you are keeping well, and today we have a rather interesting presentation. It took me a while to actually figure out how to do it because I want a lot of information on this actual species of animal. But moving on, the presentation is on a very unique animal by the name of Koolasuchus, meaning Kool's crocodile, which is a rather cool name if you ask my opinion. This gigantic amphibian lasted long after many of its relatives actually died out and was a great survivor at the time. Thought I'd also include this lovely little image. I think this is definitely Cretaceous period, but I can't think of what sort of carnivore that is in the background. Although it does look a lot like an Allosaurus, but I know it's not because that was Jurassic. But I think we have some form of Mutabarosaurus, it might be, or some sort of hadrosaur walking off the big little herbivores, and the Koolasuchus are actually the derpy little creatures in the bottom of the screen. But as always, let's move on and get to the actual presentation. Here's a lovely little image with a nice little signature there as well. Koolasuchus though actually lived during the early Cretaceous period. This was some 120 million years ago, ladies and gents. This stage of the Cretaceous was known as the Aptian period, or stage, and lasted from 125 million years to 113 million years ago. Koolasuchus lived within a cold climate, which surprisingly, which might come to as a big surprise to me as well, it actually was modern day Australia, as at the time Australia was beneath the actual Arctic Circle, so it was a quite cold climate indeed. Koolasuchus size wise was estimated to have reached up to 4 to 5 metres in length, and this is roughly about 13 to 16 feet long, and in terms of mass and body weight, Koolasuchus could have maybe reached up to a possible weight of 500 kilograms, so it's quite a hefty animal indeed. Finally, moving on to dietary developments and whatnot, Koolasuchus was actually a quite large aquatic predator, and it probably would have formed a similar role or niche to modern crocodilians. As I said in a previous slide, Koolasuchus lived in a section of the Cretaceous known as the Aptian period, and this was, as I said before as well, some 125 to 113 million years ago. The Aptian period, or little time frame, hosted a vast array of diverse species, and I just thought I would research a few of these and would include a few of them on here for you. On the top left, you have the lovely Ouranosaurus, which was a nice little herbivore at the time. And on the bottom left, you have a titanic dinosaur called Sauroposeidon, which I think is also a rather cool name. Come on, Sauroposeidon. On the top right, we got a large, big carnivore called Acrocanthosaurus. And on the bottom right is a lovely little dinosaur called Psittacosaurus, which I believe actually translates to parrot lizard. Just thought I'd include this lovely image to try and give you a rough idea of actually the sheer size of Koolasuchus, because it was truly an incredibly large amphibian and it was an amazing animal itself. Koolasuchus was able to outlast most of its relatives because of the cool Australian climate at the time, which might have allowed it to possibly hibernate, but eventually ended up going extinct due to modern, well, not modern crocodilians, but the crocodilians at the time in prehistoric periods actually outcompeting it in the end and taking over the niche that was previously occupied by large amphibians. Here are just some lovely cool aquatic facts for you, ladies and gentlemen, to dip your feet into. I hope you enjoy. Koolasuchus was able to survive for a very long duration for the fact it lived in a really cold climate. But once the climate actually warmed up, crocodilians moved into the area and outcompeted Koolasuchus to eventually went extinct. Koolasuchus makes an appearance in one of my favourite series, known as Walking with Dinosaurs, which was hosted by the BBC and produced by them. It appears in an episode known as The Spirits of the Ice Forest. And despite also the name Koolasuchus, meaning Kool's crocodile, Koolasuchus is actually an amphibian and would have came into the same sort of period today if you want to class it as like salamanders, newts, and frogs and toads. Here we got a lovely little image, and the Koolasuchus does actually in fact look a little bit derpy. Koolasuchus was named after paleontologist Leslie Kool, whereas the actual type species is named after geologist Mike Cleland. I'll just apologise now, I probably will not pronounce a certain word correctly during this, but here we go. Koolasuchus belonged to an order of amphibians known as the Temenospondyle. Many Temenospondylls resemble crocodiles in appearance and are generally much larger than modern day amphibians. Temenospondylls first appeared during the early Carboniferous period, some 330, I should say, not 33, 330 million years ago. The largest Temodospondyls were also up to the largest known amphibians to date, and the largest actually known telespondal species goes by the name of Koolasuchus, with the largest specimen being up to 9 metres in length, almost 30 foot long. So it was actually a huge amphibian. It would have been a very large animal, even comparing it to many reptile species and different mammalian species. Thought we'd finish off with a quite delightful little image of a Koolasuchus by the looks of it, stalking some small species of theropod dinosaur, which is quite clearly, as you can see, bird-like in appearance. Koolasuchus was indeed a great survivor, and its demise generally spelled the end for large amphibians. As always, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry it's a little bit shorter than some of the videos I've recently been bringing out, but this is just because I actually quite badly struggle to find relevant information on this animal. If anyone that does know any handy websites which provide a lot of wealth of information on Koolasuchus, please link them below for me. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment and like the video, and join the Raptor Pack today by subscribing, and have a marvellous day.